Hey guys, tonight we're stepping back in time, all the way to the prehistoric era. Imagine yourself in the dim light of an early morning inside a cave, surrounded by nothing but rough stone walls and the hum of nature outside. You're waking up to another day in the wild, a world untouched by cities, roads, or technology. No phones, no electricity, no comfy beds. In fact, survival here isn't about comfort, it's about grit, determination, and, well, not getting eaten by something bigger than you. You probably won't survive this, but we're going to try. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And feel free to share where you're tuning in from and what time it is over there. Let's see how far and wide our cave-dwelling ancestors spread. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You open your eyes, and immediately the day begins. You're in a cave, and though it may seem like a cozy spot, it's far from the comfort of a soft mattress. The sun, although weak, is slowly creeping through the entrance. The air is still damp from the previous night, and the smell of earth is heavy. The first thing that hits you is the cold. The stone walls of the cave chill you to the bone, but the damp air is nothing compared to the heat of the day that is about to come. There's no snooze button here when the sun rises. So, do you? Your body is stiff from sleeping on the cold ground, your fur rug doing little to cushion the harshness of stone. As you stretch and yawn, you feel the hunger gnaw at your stomach. The day ahead will require all your strength, and you need food. There's no question about it, you must hunt. But it's not as glamorous as you might imagine. The hunt isn't a heroic chase through forests and grasslands. It's a mix of patience, strategy, and risk. First things first, hunting. You pick up your spear, feeling the rough handle in your hand, and step out of the cave. The daylight barely filters in, but that's all you need. It's early, and most creatures are still in their burrows or at the waterhole. The only sound is the rustling of leaves and the distant call of a bird. For you, hunting today means using your wits, not your strength. You can't chase down a mammoth, not today. You're looking for something more manageable, small game, a rabbit or a bird. But this is no easy task. You can't just run after the prey like in those action movies. No, your strategy is stealth. You move carefully, stalking through the trees, making as little noise as possible. If you're lucky, the animal won't even notice you until it's too late. You don't need to be fast, just patient and precise. Once you spot your prey, you know exactly what to do. A quick, well-aimed throw, and you've caught your meal for the day. After you've taken care of the hunt, it's time for gathering. While hunting is important, it's only part of the equation. Gathering is just as essential. You can't live on meat alone, not unless you're ready to face the dangers of an iron deficiency. You need plants, berries, nuts, roots, anything you can find that will fill you up and provide necessary nutrients. It's a tedious task, walking around the same area, checking the same bushes and trees, hoping for the best. But the variety of food you gather is what keeps you alive through the lean seasons. When hunting is scarce now, let's not romanticize this gathering process. It's not just a fun little stroll through the forest picking berries. No, it's a battle against nature. Thorns, bugs, and even the occasional hungry animal can make this a dangerous job. But you do it anyway, because without these plants, there's no chance of surviving through the cold months. Speaking of survival, there's something else you need. shelter. You head back to your cave after gathering, but your day isn't done. Yet, you need to work on your shelter, making sure the walls are secure, the entrance is clear, and the fire pit is ready for tonight. You know that when darkness falls, the temperature will drop and predators will be on the prowl. That means your shelter isn't just a place to sleep, it's a lifeline now. After all the work and effort, there's a moment of reprieve, but instead of collapsing on your fur rug, you look up at the cave walls. The paintings, the carvings, the symbols left behind by your ancestors, they're not just decoration. They're communication, maybe they're stories of hunts, maybe they're spiritual symbols, or perhaps, like many historians argue, they're just early attempts at art. Whatever the reason, they are part of the rhythm of life here in the cave. You grab a few charred sticks and, with a steady hand, add your mark to the wall. Future generations might look at it, and maybe they'll wonder who you were, what you did, but there's no time to daydream about immortality. You have tools to make. It's not just a matter of using what's lying around. You need to shape it, craft it, make it useful. You find a suitable stone and begin to chip away at it, refining it into something that will help with the next hunt, or perhaps the next shelter building project. The first tools were crude, but they were also groundbreaking. In your hands, you hold a piece of history in the making. As the day wears on, you start thinking about the other aspects of life in the cave. It's not just survival and hunting and gathering, there's the family dynamic. You've got a small group perhaps, a few others, maybe even children who rely on you. There's no clear hierarchy in your tribe, but it's understood that everyone has a role to play. Some gather, some hunt, some take care of the fire. Everyone works together because, without this cooperation, survival would be impossible. Of course, being in a family also means there's time for a little fun. It's not all about survival. There's room for bonding too. You share stories, play games, and maybe even laugh a little. It's not a modern comedy show, but it's enough to take your mind off the daily grind. It's these little moments that make life in the cave more than just existing, it makes it living. Then, as the sun begins to set, you head back out to the field, ready for one last check of the perimeter. Fire, it's essential for warmth, for light, and for keeping predators at bay. You gather sticks, dried wood, and anything else that will burn easily. You're ready for the fire to be lit again, for the night to come. It's a simple task, but one that keeps you alive. As the fire crackles and the shadows of your cave grow long, you take a moment to reflect. Today was a good day. You hunted, gathered, built, and marked your place in the world. Life isn't easy, and it's not glamorous, but it's yours. Tomorrow, the cycle will repeat, but tonight, you rest. You lay down on your fur rug, surrounded by the crackling warmth of your fire, knowing that you've done everything you could to survive. Today, the hunt is over, the fire is crackling, and now you're left with the quiet of the evening. The day's hard work is behind you, but the next challenge is just around the corner. In the world of cavemen, nothing stays still for long. Survival is constant, and tomorrow will bring more work. As you lie there, resting, perhaps staring into the flames, you start to wonder about how people like you, your ancestors, learned to live this way. How did your world, as harsh and primal as it was, become something sustainable day after day? The first few hours of the day are simple, repetitive, but there's a certain rhythm to it all. A rhythm that you understand better than anything modern society has to offer. But there are moments where you have to face reality, the hunt, number. Matter how comfortable your shelter, no matter how cozy your fire, you're always just one bad hunting day away from disaster. But it wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, hunting wasn't as efficient as it became over time. At first, it was all trial and error. If you think hunting was an innate skill, think again. It was hard work, filled with failure, confusion, and constant danger. Your first tools were stone implements, clumsy and heavy. Spears? Yes, they were in their early stages. You probably used your hands and rocks to do the job at first. But necessity breeds invention, and with every failure, you learn and refine. Eventually, after countless attempts, your tools begin to work, and you start to catch bigger animals. But even then, hunting wasn't all that glamorous. You couldn't just throw your spear and hope for the best. No, there were strategies involved. Imagine this: you're with a group of your fellow cavemen, crouching in the long grass, your heart beating faster with every step. The wind blows gently, and you try to match its rhythm. You stay hidden, moving in sync with your group, careful not to make a sound. The moment of truth is approaching, and just as you spot your prey, you must rely on a careful balance of patience, speed, and instinct. You wait for the perfect moment, and when it comes, you spring into action. Your spear flies through the air. You've nailed your target. That's what hunting in the Stone Age was all about. It was all about the timing, the technique, and the cooperation with your fellow hunters. But after you've made the kill, the real work begins. You've got to process the animal. It's not just about bringing it back to the cave. You've got to skin it, break it down, and preserve it. Raw meat is good for today, but what about the coming days? Without refrigeration or even the concept of storing food properly, you have to get creative. You might have learned to dry meat, smoke it, or even cook it to preserve it longer. The early versions of jerky came about through necessity. And then there's the gathering. While the hunt can be thrilling, gathering is just as critical, if not more so. Think about it. Hunting can be hit or miss. You might get lucky one day, but other days, there's nothing. That's where gathering comes in. You can't rely on the hunt every single day, especially if game is sparse. And the gathering isn't just about picking random fruits off trees or grabbing a few roots from the ground. No, it's an art in itself. You have to know what's edible, what's toxic, and what will give you the most nutrition. It takes patience, experience, and a deep connection with the land around you. Here's the kicker. Gathering wasn't always as safe as it sounds. Many plants in the wild are dangerous, and some can be outright deadly. You probably didn't have a handy manual to tell you which berries were safe to eat. Instead, you learned by trial and error. That's the price you pay for survival. But even in a world so full of danger, there was safety in numbers. If you were lucky enough to be part of a tribe, the chances of survival were much higher. And speaking of safety, let's not forget about predators. It's one thing to be the hunter, but what about the hunted? You weren't the top of the food chain, not by a long shot. Animals like large predators, wolves, saber-toothed cats, and even large birds of prey were always lurking, just waiting for the opportunity to take a caveman out. You had to be on constant alert. And that's where teamwork came into play. It wasn't just about the hunt, it was about staying alive. You've got to think about the bigger picture. You're in the wild, with nothing but your wits and your tribe to protect you. It's about working together. You've got to stay in groups, watch each other's backs, and rely on one another to survive. and that sense of community goes far. Beyond hunting and gathering, it's about the daily rituals of survival. Speaking of rituals, did you know that your people probably engaged in something resembling early forms of religion or spirituality? Historians still argue whether early humans believed in any form of gods or spiritual beings, but many believe that cave paintings and ritualistic artifacts suggest some form of symbolic thinking. Cave art wasn't just decoration. These paintings, whether of animals or abstract symbols, were likely part of a larger system of belief or superstition. It's easy to dismiss these marks as primitive, but they represent a deep connection to something greater. In fact, cave art probably served several purposes. It was a way to communicate within the tribe. It could also have been an early form of storytelling, a way to preserve the history of your group. Perhaps it was meant to bring good luck in the hunt or serve as a spiritual connection to the world around you. The truth is, we can't say for sure. But one thing's clear. Cave art wasn't just some random scribbles. It had a purpose, even if we're not entirely sure what that purpose was. As you sit around the fire, reflecting on the day, you start to realize how much of your life revolves around the cycles of nature. You live by the seasons. The hunt, the gathering, the fire, all of it is dictated by the environment around you. The weather, the changing of the seasons, and the movement of animals all shape your life in ways that we can only begin to understand today. And then, as the fire dims and the shadows grow longer, you think about the long, cold nights ahead. Life in the cave is far from easy, and yet you've adapted. You've learned how to survive and thrive in a world that would seem impossible to anyone today. You've crafted your tools, built your shelter, and made your mark on the world in the only way you knew how, through the struggle for survival. Your existence may be simple, but it's powerful. You are a part of the human story, the first chapter of a long journey that will eventually lead to civilizations, technologies, and ideas that no one of your time could ever have imagined. As the night settles in and you drift off to sleep, the cave feels safer now. You know the cycle of your life will begin again with the rising sun. Tomorrow, you'll hunt, gather, and work together with your tribe to continue this existence. The world might change, but for now, it's all about the here and now. Survival, simplicity, unity. The night grows deeper, the fire flickers low, and you lie beneath the stone ceiling of your cave, resting, but only barely. The sounds of the wilderness outside are ever present, the occasional rustle of leaves, the call of distant creatures, the hum of the earth itself. Despite the warm glow of the fire, there's no real security in this primitive world. The challenge of living here is constant, and tomorrow promises more of the same. The next day will not be the last, and the next challenge is already waiting for you as you lie in the dim light. Reflecting on your daily survival, it becomes clear that the day's work is only one part of your existence. There is, of course, the hunt, the gathering, the making of tools, and the tending of fire. But as you go about your life, there's something that quietly defines it, all your role within the tribe. Family, work, and your survival are all intricately linked, and none of it is as simple as it seems. The tribe is more than a group of people, it's a complex network of relationships, responsibilities, and roles. Some are better at hunting, others at gathering, and still others at building. Every task is essential. There's no room for laziness or inefficiency, and no one person can take on every responsibility. It's not just about surviving, today it's about building the future together. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you feel is the communal sense of urgency. You're not just acting for yourself, you're working for the survival of everyone in your group. You feel that weight of responsibility every day. It's not something you can just ignore. The tribe's success is your success, and your success is the tribe's. Your tribe has its roles and hierarchies, although these aren't based on authority in the same way that modern society structures itself. Instead, the roles are shaped by skill, knowledge, and necessity. Some people are natural hunters, while others have a knack for knowing which plants are edible, which can heal, and which are best left alone. There's no boss per se, but there is a respect for those who excel in these key areas. It's more like a mutual understanding that everyone contributes in their own way. In this way, the relationships within the tribe are simple, yet profound. The knowledge of the hunt is passed down like an unspoken tradition, learned by watching, listening, and doing. The same goes for gathering. The older members of the tribe know where the best berries grow, where the safest roots are to be dug, and which mushrooms are most likely to nourish you rather than poison you. You don't have books or guides, but you've learned the land by living on it, by trial and error. It's easy to imagine a life full of simple chores and tasks, but the day is never as easy as it seems. As you're out hunting or gathering, you face the same realities that any other species in the animal kingdom must confront. You must stay vigilant. The world outside your cave is full of dangers that are not always visible or predictable. You can't just assume that everything will work. Out nature doesn't work that way. One moment, you're tracking an animal through the forest, and the next, you're sprinting for your life as a pack of wolves or a wild cat spots you. It's moments like this that remind you of your place in the food chain. You're not invincible, and you never will be. You have to be fast, clever, and resourceful. This is not just about physical survival. It's about outthinking your environment, outsmarting those who would turn you into a meal. At the same time, the constant threat of predators is not the only worry. Your very existence depends on what you bring back to the tribe. You can't go back empty-handed. Whether you've been hunting or gathering, you need to bring something useful back to the group. When the food starts running low or the weather turns cold, it's all about contributing. You can't hide behind others. You must contribute or risk the survival of the group. There is one thing that makes this life slightly more manageable, though: fire. Fire, more than anything else, is the one thing that sets you apart from the animals. It's your weapon and your shield, your warmth and your comfort. Without fire, you are at the mercy of the elements. The cold is relentless, and the dark is frightening. But fire is the one thing that lets you control your environment. You build a fire at night, and suddenly, the shadows in your cave don't seem so intimidating. The creatures lurking in the woods are kept at bay. But fire isn't something you can just take for granted. How did your ancestors discover fire? Historians still debate whether it was through accident or necessity, whether it was a slow burn of trial and error or a eureka moment. Did someone stumble across the spark of a lightning strike, or did they discover that rubbing two stones together could create a spark? It's a mystery that still puzzles archaeologists. What we do know is that once fire was discovered, it became an essential part of survival. It didn't just provide warmth and protection from the wild sit, was used for cooking, for making tools, and possibly even for rituals. The act of creating fire is almost a sacred ritual itself. You can't just rely on the fire you started yesterday. It's not always going to stay lit. So, you must maintain it, add fuel, and watch it carefully. Each night as you rest by the fire, you're not just thinking about the day's accomplishments, but also about the days to come. If you lose this fire, everything becomes harder. You would have to go back to the old ways, scavenging for embers, rubbing sticks together, hoping for a spark. It's a lot of pressure, especially when you're just trying to get some rest after a long day. But fire is more than just a tool, it's also a community builder. Sitting around the fire at night, your tribe gathers to tell stories, share knowledge, and bond. It's not just about keeping warm. The fire brings you together, provides a sense of comfort and connection. In a world filled with dangers, the fire is a unifying force. It's the one thing that makes your cave home feel safe, at least for a little while. Of course, life in the cave isn't all about survival and fire. There are moments of peace, moments of reflection. As you sit around the fire, you might look up at the walls of the cave and see the paintings left behind by your ancestors. Those paintings are more than just decorative. They're a glimpse into the minds of the people who came before you. Perhaps they represent rituals, hunts, or stories passed down. Historians argue that these paintings might have had a spiritual or symbolic meaning, perhaps even serving as a kind of early communication. But whatever their purpose, they're evidence that even in the most primal times, humans had a deep need to express themselves, to document their world. Perhaps it was to connect with the divine or to make sense of the world around them. These cave paintings are a reminder that while life is hard and survival is the top priority, there's also a need for something more. There's a need for connection, expression, and meaning. As much as survival dominated your existence, there's more to life than just staying alive. In your tribe, in your cave, in the flicker of the fire, you experience something timeless, something that connects you with those who came before and those who will come after. Life may be hard, but you are a part of something greater. You may not fully understand it, but you know you're part of a story. You're not just surviving, you're creating a future. You're laying the groundwork for the generations that will follow. Perhaps they'll live differently, with better tools, more food, and fewer predators. But for now, it's all about this: surviving, thriving, and living. And in the end, that's all anyone can ask for. As the fire dims and you drift into sleep, the world outside feels both terrifying and beautiful. But inside your cave, you're safe for tonight. You know that tomorrow, the rhythm of survival will begin again. And as you close your eyes, you can only wonder what the future holds. The first light of dawn slowly seeps through the cracks in the stone above your head. The fire has long since died down, and the air in the cave is cool, biting at your skin as you stir. You feel the stiffness in your muscles from yesterday's work, the hard days of survival starting to take their toll. But there's no time to dwell on fatigue. The world doesn't stop, and neither does your need to live. The cave may be quiet now, but it won't stay that way. You know that once the sun is up, it's time to get moving. There are tasks to accomplish, and while they may seem mundane, they are what allow you to stay alive. As you begin to stretch and prepare for the day, your mind drifts to the hunt once more. Every day you face the same struggle, the constant pursuit of food, water, and shelter. It's a tiring, repetitive cycle, but it's also the very thing that keeps you grounded in reality. There's a unique rhythm to your existence. You wake, hunt, gather, sleep, and repeat. While this may seem like a life devoid of luxury, it's rich with the simple knowledge that you are alive, that you are part of something primal, something that links you to every living thing on this earth. Today, like every day, begins with the hunt. You and your group of hunters gather together, each with a spear, a sharpened rock, or whatever tools you've managed to create from nature's bounty. The morning air is thick with tension. There's a certain stillness to the wilderness at this hour, as if everything is holding its breath. The ground beneath your feet is damp from dew, and the silence is only interrupted by the occasional sound of birds calling from the trees, or the wind rustling through the tall grass. Hunting is never easy, and it's never guaranteed. You could leave with all the hope in the world and return empty-handed. But as part of the tribe, it's your responsibility to try and try again. The task at hand today is something smaller, perhaps a hare or a bird, something you can easily track and capture. Larger game like deer or bison are too dangerous to hunt alone, and the risk outweighs the potential reward. You begin your journey into the forest, moving as quietly as possible, your eyes scanning for any sign of movement. Your heart beats in rhythm with your steps, and your body is attuned to every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig. This is the art of survival, the dance between predator and prey, and it's something you've learned over the years. The adrenaline spikes as you spot your targeter, small rabbit, nibbling at the grass in the early morning sun. There's no room for hesitation. You crouch low, holding your breath, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. You know the movement must be quick and decisive, the spear thrown with pinpoint accuracy. But it's not just the throw that counts. The strategy is just as important. You need to make sure the prey doesn't escape, and that means positioning yourself just right. It's a tense moment, but your aim is true. The spear flies through the air and lands with a satisfying thud. Your target is down, and dinner is secured. It's not the grand hunt of a mammoth or a bison, but it's enough to feed the tribe for the day. You feel a surge of pride, not because it was easy, but because it was a necessary victory. Your people depend on this. This is what sustains you all. With the hunt complete, it's time to return to the cave. But you don't go back empty-handed. There's gathering to do. The forest offers its own treasures in the form of berries, nuts, and roots, things you can't live without. Gathering is often overlooked, but it's just as vital as the hunt. It's what keeps the tribe alive during lean times, when game is scarce, or when the weather prevents anyone from venturing far from home. You head deeper into the woods, scanning the ground for the familiar signs of edible plants. There's a certain beauty in gathering, in learning the land like you do. The berries you pick are small but sweet. The roots are bitter but necessary. Each find is a victory, each handful a small triumph that will add to the tribe's overall survival. You've learned to recognize the difference between edible and poisonous, between helpful and harmful, through countless trials. Life in this world is never guaranteed, but it's moments like these, in the quiet of the forest, that you understand the deep connection between you and the land. It's not just about survival, it's about respect. You take what you need, and you leave the rest, understanding that the land gives and takes in equal measure. This is your world. You belong to it just as much as it belongs to you. By midday, you're back at the cave. The air is warm now, and the sun's rays stream through the opening. It's a brief moment of respite before the work starts again. The group gathers around the fire, and the scent of roasting meat fills the air. There's no real comfort in the food. It's necessary, but there's something comforting about being surrounded by those you've come to rely on. the people who share the same struggles, the same goals. That as you eat, you talk quietly at first. As the meal begins, but soon, the conversation picks up. Stories are shared. The children sit quietly, listening to tales of the hunt, of dangers faced, of challenges overcome. It's not just about food, it's about community. You're not alone here. This is your family, your tribe, and every meal shared around the fire strengthens the bond. But just as you're finishing your meal, the calm is shattered. A rustling sound comes from outside the cave, and everyone tenses. You know what it means. It could be a predator, a bear, or something worse, stalking your tribe. The tranquility of the moment vanishes as quickly as it arrived, and survival instincts take over. Weapons are grabbed, and everyone moves with purpose, their bodies alert and ready for action. But it's not a predator. It's another member of the tribe, returning from a different hunting party. The relief is palpable, but so is the exhaustion. You've all been through the same stresses, the same fears, and now you share the same joy. For a moment, it's as if the world has stopped, and you all breathe easy. It's fleeting, of course. The dangers are always there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the slightest lapse in vigilance. But for now, in this moment, you've made it through. As the sun starts to dip below the horizon, you know it's time to prepare for nightfall. It's not just about lighting the fire again. You need to gather more wood, more fuel to keep the flame alive. Without fire, there's nothing. The darkness becomes more than just a physical absence, it becomes a threat. It's not just the predators. It's the cold, the unknown, the emptiness. You start the fire, and the flames grow higher, casting their golden glow against the walls of the cave. The shadows dance across the stone, and for a moment, it feels as though everything is in its rightful place. The tribe huddles together, warming themselves by the fire, their faces illuminated by the flickering light. Tomorrow, the cycle will begin again. There will be more hunting, more gathering, more work. But tonight, you rest. The day ends with a quiet sense of fulfillment. It's been a long one, filled with challenges, but it's also been filled with small victories. You've done what you came here to do. You've survived. The fire crackles softly as you drift into a much-needed sleep, knowing that tomorrow will bring its own set of challenges, its own tasks. But for now, you are safe. You are part of the tribe, and you have done your part to ensure that everyone will live to see another day. Tomorrow's world will be just as raw, just as unforgiving. But tonight, you are alive, and that is enough. The night passes quickly, and before you know it, the first rays of sunlight filter through the entrance of the cave. The air is cold, crisp, with the early morning chill that's yet to be burned off by the sun. You can feel it in your bones. The same familiar stiffness, the same discomfort of another day, starting with the demands of survival. There's no luxury in this world, no time to sleep in or rest for long. The moment you wake up, the world demands something from you. It doesn't wait, it never stops, and you can't afford to either. The sense of urgency in your bones is something you've come to understand deeply over the years. Survival is never a leisurely affair. It's a constant, unyielding demand. The struggle to stay alive requires work. Your body, aching from the previous day's labor, is already asking for more, but there's no room for complaint. Every muscle you've built, every callus that has formed, is a result of this hard work. There's no time for weakness. The cave is silent, except for the soft hum of nature, outside birds chirping, leaves rustling in the breeze, a distant growl that reminds you of your place in the food chain. It's easy to forget in the safety of the cave, but it's always there, lurking. As the sun rises higher, you begin the morning routine. The first thing you notice is the fire, still glowing faintly from last night's embers. You stir it, adding more wood to keep it alive. Fire isn't just something to keep you warm. It's your lifeline, your protection against the wild, your tool for cooking, and your light in the darkness. You carefully stoke the flames, making sure it doesn't die out. It's a fragile thing, this fire. If you lose it, you'll have to start over from scratch. But tonight, it will burn bright again, and so the cycle continues. Now that the fire is rekindled, you move outside. The forest greets you in the early morning light, the scent of dew still heavy in the air. The world seems to be holding its breath, just like the stillness in the cave before the day started. There's no time to enjoy the beauty of it, though. You've got work to do. You head towards the familiar path, moving steadily through the dense underbrush. Today's hunt will be different from yesterday. The challenge always changes. Perhaps today you'll go after a larger animal, or maybe you'll settle for small game, like rabbits or birds. But it's never easy. No matter how well you've learned the land, no matter how many successful hunts you've had, there's always the chance that things won't go as planned. You could wander for hours without a sign of prey, or worse, stumble upon a predator's territory. But you can't dwell on the what-ifs. That's not how survival works. You need to keep moving forward, eyes sharp, mind focused. Every step is a risk. Every decision is critical. Today, the hunt takes you farther than usual. You track the scent of a deer, a good-sized one. This could be your big break, the kind of catch that'll feed the tribe for days. But the deer is elusive. It knows you're after it, and it's fast. You're not the only hunter in the forest, after all. There's a rhythm to the chase, a careful balance of predator and prey. It takes hours, and your muscles begin to protest. Your legs ache, your body is covered in sweat, and you feel the strain in your chest. But you can't stop now. You've come too far, and this hunt will determine the success of your day. After what feels like an eternity, you finally catch sight of your prey. It's grazing in the clearing, oblivious to your presence. The moment of truth has arrived. You crouch low, your spear at the ready. Every muscle in your body is tense, your senses heightened to an almost painful degree. The slightest movement, the slightest sound could give you away. You breathe slowly, steadying yourself. It's not just about the throw. It's about timing, precision, and luck. With a deep breath, you throw the spear. Time seems to slow as it arcs through the air, landing with a sickening thud in the side of the deer. It stumbles, a brief moment of shock before it collapses. You've made the kill. The hunt is over, and your tribe will eat well tonight. There's a rush of triumph in your chest, but it's tempered by the realization that it's just another day in the endless cycle of survival. This victory, while sweet, is fleeting. Tomorrow, you'll hunt again, and tomorrow's challenges will be just as demanding. With the deer secured, you start the long trek back to the cave. The weight of the animal is heavy, but you've learned to carry it with ease. There's no room for fatigue, no time to rest. Your body knows what needs to be done. The journey back is quiet, save for the crunch of leaves beneath your feet and the soft rustling of branches overhead. You've seen the land change over the years, but it's always the same in its basic need to provide. When you return to the cave, your tribe greets you with nods of approval. The hunt was a success. The fire is already roaring, ready for the meat to be cooked. There's a sense of community that builds around these moments. The shared labor, the shared triumphs, the collective effort to stay alive. It's not just about the food, though the food is vital. It's about the ritual of it, the understanding that each person plays a part in the survival of the whole. Everyone knows their role, and no one is above it. The older members of the tribe sit nearby, teaching the younger ones the ways of the hunt, the gathering, and the fire. After the meat is cooked and the tribe gathers around, there's a quiet sense of contentment. The hard work of the day is done, and for a few brief moments, the firelight casts a warm glow over everything. It's not much, but it's enough. The warmth of the fire, the taste of fresh meat, the company of those who share your struggles, it's the closest thing to peace you'll ever know in this world. But as night falls and the fire flickers low, the reality of the world sets back in. You're reminded that survival is an ongoing process, one that never stops. You can't rest for long, because tomorrow will bring new challenges, new obstacles, and new risks. But tonight, you allow yourself a brief moment of respite. You close your eyes, grateful for the work that has been done, knowing that tomorrow's world will be just as demanding as today's. The fire crackles softly, and the shadows grow longer. Tomorrow, you'll wake to the same world, the same challenges, the same rhythm of survival. But tonight, you sleep. You sleep knowing that you are part of something larger, part of a tribe that has stood the test of time. And that, for all the struggles and hardships, is something worth cherishing as you drift off into a deep, dreamless sleep. You know that the fire will burn bright, and the cycle of survival will continue. But for now, in the warmth of the cave, you are safe. And that is enough. The world outside is beginning to shift again. You can feel it in the air, that familiar chill that lingers in the shadows, reminding you that the seasons will change. The sun rises in the east, lighting the world slowly as you stir in your cave. The morning light is still dim as you awake, your body already sore from yesterday's tasks. You stretch, the muscles in your arms aching from the hunt, the gathering, the constant motion. Every day is the same, yet different. Every day, you push yourself harder, you learn more, and you live to see another sunrise. The fire is barely a memory now, just a few embers glowing in the pit. You add wood, coaxing the fire back to life. The warmth spreads through the cave, and for a moment, you feel a sense of comfort that's rare in this harsh world. It's fleeting though. As the embers catch and the fire grows, you feel the weight of the day pressing on your shoulders once more. The world outside demands something of you, and you can't waste time relaxing. With the fire burning steadily now, you prepare for another day. The tasks ahead are already forming in your mind. There's always something to be done, something that needs attention. The hunt, the gathering, the shelter, the fire. The cycle continues. But today, you wonder about something else, the tools. You've spent countless hours making, using, and repairing the tools that help you survive. But when did you first begin to shape the rocks, to sharpen the stones? What was it like when the first tools were crafted, when the first fire was struck? The creation of tools is a pivotal moment in the history of mankind. It's not something you think about every day, but today, for some reason, you pause. You can't remember the first time you picked up a stone and used it to hunt, or the first time you chipped a flint to start a fire. All those moments blend together in a blur of survival, a blur of necessity. But you know one thing for sure: tools made all the difference. Historians still argue over the timeline of tool development. Some say that tools were being used by early humans around 2.6 million years ago. Others argue that it could have been even earlier. Regardless, the first tools were crude. They were rocks, sticks, and anything else that could serve a purpose. It's hard to imagine now, with the sharp tools and technology available today. But back then, survival depended on your ability to adapt to the environment. Tools weren't just an accessory, they were a lifeline. You grab a stone and start to work. The action is second nature by now. The rough edges of the rock wear down under your persistent effort. The tool begins to take shape, a crude weapon. Of necessity, it's not pretty, but it works. You test it out, checking its balance, its sharpness, and you realize something. This tool, in its simple form, has the power to help you survive. It's not just a tool for hunting, it's a tool for life. With it, you can create, defend, and build. It's a small thing, but in this world, it's everything. As you finish shaping the tool, you think back to the first time someone like you crafted something from stone. That first breakthrough, that moment when someone realized they could shape their environment rather than simply react to it. The change was subtle, but it marked the beginning of something profound. It was the moment when humanity began to transcend. The animalistic world, when it took the first steps towards civilization. It's hard to imagine now, but the tools you use daily were born from that moment. The thought lingers as you prepare to leave the cave. The hunt is calling again. You've got your tool, ready for the day ahead, and with it, the confidence to face whatever the wild throws your way. The world is the same, but your understanding of it has shifted just a little. You've created something that will help you live. It may be small, but it's an essential part of your survival. The hunt will take care of itself now. You step out of the cave, the fresh morning air greeting you like an old friend. The forest is still, the world seems to be holding its breath, waiting for you to make the first move. The grass is wet with dew, and the trees are still heavy with the morning fog. You start moving, your eyes scanning for any sign of movement. It's a slow start today. The animals are all hiding, perhaps waiting for the sun to rise fully before they begin their daily routines. You move cautiously, carefully, trying not to disturb the peace of the forest. There's always the chance that you won't find anything. Today, that's the way it goes with hunting. It's unpredictable, no matter how skilled you become. You could spend hours tracking an animal only to come back empty-handed. But there's no time for disappointment. The hunt must go on. You can't afford to let one failure keep you from the next success. So you push forward, your mind focused on the task at hand. Finally, after what feels like hours of moving through the underbrush, you spot something, a small deer, grazing peacefully on the edge of the clearing. The moment of truth arrives again. You pause, crouching low, your heart racing in your chest. The deer doesn't notice you yet. You take a slow breath, steadying your nerves. This is the moment. Everything else falls away. The deer raises its head, its ears twitching, sensing something in the air. You can't wait much longer. You throw the spear, the motion swift, the aim true. The spear strikes its mark. The deer stumbles, then falls. Your heart swells with a rush of triumph. The hunt is over. Today, the tribe will eat well. Today, you've succeeded. You move forward to collect your prize, a mix of relief and pride flooding your chest. The hunt is always a risk, but today it has paid off. With the deer secured, you start the long journey back to the cave. The weight of the animal is heavy, but you've learned how to carry it with ease. There's no room for slowing down. The Work isn't done yet. You still have to clean and prepare the meat, and there's always more to be done as you return to the cave. The tribe is already preparing for the feast. The fire is roaring, and the smell of roasting meat fills the air. There's a sense of satisfaction in the air as well. You can feel it in the way the tribe moves, the way they come together. You've done your part. The cycle of survival continues. The food will nourish everyone, but more than that, it will strengthen the bonds between you and your people. This is what keeps you going, this shared sense of purpose, of survival, of life. As the day fades into night, the warmth of the fire surrounds you. You eat, you share stories, and for a brief moment, everything feels right. But you know this peace is fleeting. Tomorrow, the hunt will begin again. Tomorrow, you will rise with the same urgency, with the same drive to survive. And that is the rhythm of life. The fire crackles, and the shadows grow long. You close your eyes, feeling the heat of the fire against your skin, knowing that tomorrow, the world will demand the same from you. But for now, you sleep. You sleep, knowing that you are part of something larger than yourself. Part of the never-ending cycle of life that has existed for countless generations. The fire will burn bright again. The hunt will begin again. And you will rise, as always, to meet the challenge. The night feels long and silent, but the warmth of the fire keeps the chill of the wilderness at bay. The rhythmic crackling of the flames becomes the background to your thoughts as you lie there, your eyes half closed, your mind wandering between the shadows and the warmth of the fire. The day's work is done, and for now, the world outside the cave feels far away. But even in these rare moments of stillness, you know that there is always something just beyond the reach of comforter, new challenge, a new task, a new reason to keep moving forward. When you finally close your eyes, sleep comes easily, but it's never truly restful. The primal instincts you've developed over time keep your senses alert, even in slumber. The world outside is always a threat, always something to fear. The night holds the possibility of predators or storms, or worse, something worse that you can't yet understand. Your dreams, if they come at all, are filled with the sounds of the wilderness, the rustle of leaves, the growl of distant creatures, and the distant echo of your tribe's voices. But before long, the sun rises again, casting a faint light into the cave. The warmth from the fire has faded overnight, and the cool air greets you as you slowly wake. You stretch, the familiar ache of your muscles reminding you of the work ahead. There's no time to linger in the comfort of sleep. The day's first light is your cue. The rhythm of your life is in sync with nature's cycles. Sunrise, work. Sunset, rest. The world is still. The sounds of nature still muffled in the early morning fog. There's something eerie about this hour, something that makes everything feel like it's suspended in time. The ground is wet from the dew that coats the leaves and the earth. It's another day in a world that doesn't pause, and there's no time for hesitation. You stand, slowly, stretching your limbs, already feeling the weight of the day settling onto your shoulders. You check the fire, making sure it hasn't completely died out. It's more than just a tool, now it's a companion, something that has kept you alive through the toughest of times. The fire is the thread that links your past to your present. It's not just a necessity, it's part of your identity. The light of the fire reflects the strength you've built from living in this harsh world. But it's not just the fire that matters today. It's the hunt, the work, and everything that ensures your survival. You grab your tools, the ones you've crafted over the years, each one worn and weathered by use, each one with a story to tell. There's the spear you made last week, the stone axe, the sharpened roxal tools forged by necessity. These tools, though crude by today's standards, are your keys to survival. They help you hunt, gather, and protect yourself. Without them, you are nothing. You are just another creature in the wild, subject to the whims of nature. As you head out of the cave, the world greets you with the same quiet, patient rhythm that it always does. The forest is alive with the soft sounds of creatures stirring, the leaves moving in the wind, and the distant call of birds in the trees. It's a calm day, but calm days are often deceiving. The world outside the cave is as unpredictable as it is beautiful. One moment, you're surrounded by the calm of the forest. The next, you're in the midst of a life-or-death struggle with nature. The hunt calls to you again. You've done this 1,000 times, but it never gets easier. Every day brings a new challenge, and you must face it with the same resolve as the day before. The deer you track today is different from the others. It's a larger one, and it's more aware of its surroundings. The chase will be longer, the stakes higher, but it's the same cycle, the same rhythm. You don't stop, and you don't hesitate. The animals in this world are as wary as you are, and they won't make it easy. But that's how survival works. It's not about comfort, it's about effort, about perseverance. You move silently through the trees, your every step calculated. The ground is wet and slippery beneath your feet, but you push through. The deer is ahead, moving cautiously through the forest. You crouch low, your heart pounding in your chest. This is it. The hunt is on. The tension builds as you close the distance, your eyes never leaving your target. Every instinct tells you to move faster, but you know that speed will only betray you. Patience is everything. The deer pauses for a moment, lifting its head, sensing something in the air. This is the moment. Your spear is ready, your breath held. You wait for the right instant, the perfect alignment. The spear flies. It's a direct hit. The deer stumbles, but doesn't go down immediately. You run toward it, your legs pumping, your breath coming in short gasps. You can't let it escape. Finally, the deer collapses, and you've made the kill. There's a rush of relief, but also a recognition of the hard work that lies ahead. The hunt isn't over yet. Now comes the difficult part, cleaning and preparing. The meat. The rest of the day will be spent breaking down the carcass, removing the inedible parts, and preserving what you can. It's a laborious task, but it's one you've done countless times. The meat must be cooked, but you must also save some for later. There are no refrigerators in this world. You have to make do with what you have, and that means drying the meat, smoking it, or storing it in a way that will keep it edible for days. Preservation is just as much a part of survival as hunting itself. As you carry the meat back to the cave, you feel the weight of the day pressing down on you. The work is never ending, and while there are moments of triumph, there are also moments of exhaustion. But the work must be done. Your tribe depends on it. Without you, they wouldn't survive. Returning to the cave, you hand the meat to the others, and the fire is stoked once again. The smell of roasting meat fills the air, and the tribe gathers around. There is something deeply satisfying in this shared moment, in knowing that your efforts have provided for those you care about. The work you've done today will help sustain the tribe, but more than that, it will strengthen the bond between you and your people. The cycle of life continues, one day at a time. As the evening progresses and the fire burns low, you sit with the others, sharing stories, laughter, and the fruits of your labor. It's a moment of peace, a fleeting moment of respite before the day begins again. The world outside may be harsh, but within the cave, you are safe for now. You fall asleep that night knowing that tomorrow will bring more work, more challenges, and more moments of triumph. The world never stops, and neither can you. But for now, you sleep, knowing that the fire will burn again, and you will rise to meet whatever the world has in store. Another day begins as the first light of dawn filters through the crack in the cave entrance. You stretch your stiff limbs, feeling the familiar ache from yesterday's work. There's no time to dwell on the soreness, though. The world outside. The cave is already awake, and you can hear the distant sounds of birds calling, the rustle of animals moving through the underbrush. The air smells of damp earth, and a fresh chill settles in your bones as you rise to start the day. You've grown accustomed to the rhythm of waking up with the sun, knowing that your day begins with the same relentless demand-survival. As the fire continues to flicker in the corner of the cave, you reach for the tools you made and repaired just a few days ago. The spear feels solid in your hand, the flint-edged stone still sharp despite the wear and tear. You've spent countless hours shaping these tools, making sure they'll get you through the day. Without them, you would be as vulnerable as any other animal in the wild. The tools have become an extension of you. Every time you grip the stone, every time you sharpen the edge, it's like you're giving yourself a fighting chance. You step outside, the cool morning air brushing your skin, and the light from the rising sun catches the dew on the grass. The forest is still, yet there's a constant sense of movement all around you. You know the forest like the back of your hand. It's been your home, your protector, and at times, your adversary. But today is a new day, and like every other, it brings new challenges. Today, you decide to hunt in a different direction. You've been down the same paths, and while they've yielded results in the past, there's no guarantee that your usual spots will have game today. Hunting is never predictable. The wind shifts, the animals move, and you're forced to adapt. You trust your instincts, learned over years of experience, and head deeper into unfamiliar territory. The terrain changes quickly, the ground becomes more uneven, and the trees grow thicker as you move further into the forest. The change in the landscape makes you feel more alive, more connected to the earth beneath your feet. As you continue through the dense brush, you notice the world around you becoming more vibrant, more full of life. The birds are louder now, and you hear the rustling of something moving just out of sight. The morning fog still clings to the ground, and the light filtering through the trees creates an almost ethereal glow. You stop for a moment to take it all in, but it doesn't last long. The hunt waits for no one. You move stealthily, keeping low to the ground, your eyes scanning the underbrush for any sign of movement. Your heart is steady, your mind sharp. It's a delicate balance between patience and urgency. You're not just tracking animals. You're becoming part of the landscape. Your body moves in rhythm with the forest, blending into the shadows, a ghost among the trees. The forest becomes your ally, its silence your tool. And then you spot it's your prey. A small herd of deer grazing in the clearing ahead. They're unaware of your presence, the world seemingly still for a moment. It's a good chance, but you have to act quickly. There's no room for hesitation, no room for mistakes. You crouch low, using the cover of trees and shrubs to conceal your movements. Every muscle in your body is tense, coiled, waiting for the right moment. The deer continue to feed, unaware of the hunter lurking just a few yards away. It's now or never. You move silently forward, your spear ready. You take a slow, steady breath, your eyes locked on the target. The tension builds with every second. But you don't rush. You know that the key to success is control over your emotions, your movements, your actions. The deer's head lifts slightly, and you freeze. Your heart races in your chest, but you hold your position, waiting. The world outside narrows down to just you and the deer. Finally, the moment comes. The deer lowers its head once more, and you make your move. The spear flies through the air with precision, landing deep in the side of the animal. It stumbles, a cry of pain echoing through the forest. The rest of the herd scatters, but the one you've struck is down. Your kill is secured. You approach cautiously, ensuring the animal is truly dead. The adrenaline still pumps through your veins, the thrill of the hunt, the reward of success. It's not a large animal, but it's enough. It's more than enough. With this catch, your tribe will have food for another day. It's the same cycle, the same effort. But each kill brings with it a sense of accomplishment, a reminder that you've survived another day. You've done what you came here to do. You've earned your place in the world. You begin the task of cleaning and preparing the meat, just as you've done countless times before. It's a necessary chore, one that demands your full attention. You've learned the process by heart, how to skin the animal, how to remove the internal organs, how to preserve the meat for future use. The scent of the raw flesh is strong, but you've grown used to it. This is survival. This is life. You don't stop. You don't waver. Every action is part of the greater Halter cycle of life that sustains your existence. Once the meat is prepared, you start the long journey back to the cave. It's always a long walk with a heavy load. The meat, while valuable, is cumbersome, but you don't mind. It's your responsibility to carry it back, to ensure that the tribe has what it needs to survive. The weight of the kill feels heavy, but it's a good kind of heavy. It's the weight of accomplishment, of success. The burden is lightened by the knowledge that you've done your part. You've contributed. The path back to the cave feels longer than usual. Your legs ache. Your back is sore from the weight, but you keep moving. The forest has a way of closing in on you, of making the world feel smaller as you walk through it. The trees seem to grow thicker, and the path more difficult to navigate. But the cave is ahead, and you know that once you reach it, you will rest. When you finally return, the tribe is waiting. They greet you with a mixture of relief and gratitude. You've brought back the food that will keep them alive for another day. The fire is already blazing, the smell of roasting meat filling the air. There's no need for words. The meat is the currency of survival, and your tribe knows it. The work has been done. The cycle continues as you sit around the fire with your fellow tribe members. The sense of community becomes clear. It's not just about the hunt. It's about the shared experience, the collective effort. Each person has a role to play, and together you ensure the survival of the group. There's a comfort in that, a sense of belonging that is hard to describe. You're not alone in this world. You have your tribe, and together you will continue to survive. The fire burns brightly. As the evening wears on and the tribe begins to wind down, you've eaten, you've contributed, and now it's time to rest. The exhaustion from the day's work is heavy, but it's the good kind of exhaustion. The kind that comes from knowing you've done your best. The kind that comes from living in harmony with the world around you. It's a simple existence, but it's enough. As the fire slowly dies down, the night settles in around you. The world outside the cave is quiet. the forest hushed in sleep. You lay down on your fur, feeling the weight of the day drift away. Tomorrow will come, and with it, more challenges, more work, and more struggles. But tonight, you sleep. You sleep knowing that you are part of something greater, part of the ongoing cycle of life. The fire may go out, but the cycle will continue. Tomorrow, you will rise to meet it once again. The warmth of the fire is a fleeting comfort as you stir in your sleep, roused by the soft glow of dawn creeping into the cave. The night has passed quickly, too quickly, as always, and now the world outside calls to you once again. The morning chill greets you as you open your eyes, and the quiet of the cave only emphasizes the magnitude of the day ahead. The fire, now just embers, beckons you to rise and keep the cycle moving forward. There's no time to waste. The wilderness doesn't pause for anyone, and neither can you. The harshness of life here in the wild isn't just about surviving the elements or finding food. It's about the constant effort to stay ahead, to keep the cycle turning. You stretch, the soreness in your limbs from yesterday's labor, reminding you of how physically demanding life can be. Your body is a testament to the work you've done over the years. Muscles hardened by the daily grind, calloused hands shaped by the tools you've used to survive. You move with purpose as you rise from your bedding, the fur that cushions your body a slight relief from the hard stone beneath you. As you check the fire, you see that it is barely alive. The crackling sound of embers is all that remains from last night's flame. It's time to revive it, to bring it back to life so it can once again warm the tribe and cook the food you will soon hunt. You gather dry twigs and kindling, carefully adding them to the embers. Slowly, you coax the fire back into its full glory. Fire has always been a symbol of control in this wild world. Without it, you would be vulnerable to the cold, the predators, and the dark. Fire is your shield, your warmth, and your way of life. It's a skill passed down through generations. How to start it, how to maintain it, how to use it for cooking, light, and even for protection. Once the fire is roaring, you turn your attention to your tools. You inspect the spear and the stone. Axe you've carefully honed over time. These tools are more than just instruments of survival. They are extensions of yourself. The sharpening of your tools is an act of preparation, a ritual. As you run your fingers over the smooth surface of the spear's shaft, you know that it will be your ally today, just as it has been every day before. Each tool tells a story of survival, a narrative woven with the effort, sweat, and ingenuity that keeps you alive. There is pride in these creations, but also a deep sense of gratitude for the knowledge and skill that has been passed down to you. The day is still young, and you head outside, stepping into the fresh, cool morning air. The world is quiet still, as if holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. There's no telling what the day will bring, but that's the nature of survival. You can never predict the next moment. It's the unpredictable nature of the wilderness that has made you the person you are today. You have adapted, learned, and survived in a world where only the strongest, the most clever, and the most adaptable can thrive. The hunt calls to you. You've hunted in these woods countless times, and while you know the land well, there's always an element of uncertainty. Today, you decide to head toward a different part of the forest and area you haven't explored recently. The promise of new territory, new challenges, fills you with a quiet sense of anticipation. The trees grow thicker here, the underbrush more tangled. You move through it cautiously, your senses heightened as you keep a sharp eye on the ground and the trees around you. As you make your way deeper into the woods, you spot signs of life tracks in the mud, broken branches, and the scent of fresh prey. Your heart quickens, and you move more quietly now, your body low to the ground, your focus honed in on the trail ahead. The scent of the animal is strong in the air. It's close. The hunt is on. You follow the tracks, carefully avoiding any unnecessary noise. Every step is calculated, every movement deliberate. You know that the animal, a large deer from the look of the tracks, is just ahead. It's a good-sized creature, strong and swift. The chase will require all your skill, all your patience. It's not just about speed, it's about strategy. You're not alone in this forest, and the prey knows it. The tension builds as you approach the clearing. You crouch behind a tree, your breath steady, your spear poised in your hand. You can see the deer now, grazing in the open, unaware of your presence. Your heart beats faster. This is the moment, the culmination of all the hours of tracking, waiting, and preparing. This is what it's all been for. With a deep breath, you steady your aim. The deer raises its head, its ears twitching, sensing something in the air, but it doesn't know where you are. It doesn't know what's coming. You wait for the perfect moment, and then, with all the focus and precision you can muster, you throw the spear. The motion is swift, practiced, and the spear hits its mark. The deer stumbles, the force of the blow taking it off its feet. The rush of success fills you for a split second, but there's no time to enjoy it. You rush toward the fallen animal, ensuring it is truly dead. The hunt is complete. The world seems to pause for just a moment, as if acknowledging the victory. This is survival. This is the result of all the effort, all the skill you've accumulated over the years. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You begin the process of cleaning. The kill, just as you've done countless times before. There's no romanticizing this part of the hunt. It's hard work, physically demanding and mentally taxing, but it's necessary. Every part of the animal must be used. The meat will feed the tribe, the bones can be crafted into tools, and even the skin can be used for clothing or shelter. Nothing goes to waste. Once the kill is prepared, you begin the long trek back to the cave. The weight of the animal is heavy, but you've grown accustomed to it. It's a constant burden, but it's a burden that's worth carrying. The path back feels longer today, the weight of the deer growing heavier with each step. But the thought of the tribe waiting for the meal, the thought of what this kill will provide, keeps you going as you return to the cave. The tribe is already gathered around the fire. The familiar faces of your people greet you with silent nods. The gratitude for your work unspoken but understood. You place the meat on the ground, and the fire is stoked higher to prepare for the feast. The familiar sounds of the tribe's daily routine begin to fill the air, the murmurs of voices, the crackling of the fire, and the rustle of preparation. It's not just about the food, it's about the shared experience. The cycle continues. The evening falls quickly, and with it comes the peace that only a hard day's work can bring. You sit around the fire with your tribe, the warmth of the flames casting long shadows across the cave. You eat, share stories, and rest. The day has been long, but it's been worth it. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new risks, but tonight, you rest easy. Tomorrow's world will be just as unpredictable as today's. But for now, you can rest in the knowledge that you've done what you needed to do. The hunt was successful. The tribe will survive for another day. And as the fire flickers low, you drift into sleep, knowing that tomorrow you will rise once more, ready to face whatever the world has in store. The fire may go out, but the cycle of survival will continue, and with each new day, you will rise to meet it. The first rays of sunlight trickle into the cave, spilling over the rough stone walls like a river of gold. The air is cool, yet it carries a warmth that promises a new beginning. The fire has long since died down to a few embers, the last remnants of the warmth it once provided. You stretch, stiff from another night of restless sleep, but there's no time to linger in the comfort of the bed you've made for yourself. The world is waiting for you outside, just as it always has. The hunt, the gathering, the daily rituals of survival, they are relentless. And today, like every other day, you must rise to meet them. As you move to stoke the fire back to life, you can't help but reflect on how much your world has changed over time. What once was a struggle to get by just a matter of scraping together enough food, shelter, and warmth to survive has become second nature. You don't think about the complexities of living anymore. It's just part of your rhythm, part of the dance between you and the earth. Your body has adapted to the constant demands of survival, but you also know that the peace you've built here is fragile. Tomorrow could bring another challenge, and you will have to rise to meet it. But for now, the fire is rekindled, and the day begins. You check your tools, your spear, your stone axe, the small knife you've fashioned from bone. These tools have become your life force. Without them, you are nothing. They have served you through every hunt, every gathering, every task. They have saved your life more times than you can count, and as you look at them, the reality of your dependence on these crude instruments of survival hits you in the chest. The world outside may be vast, but with these tools, you can face whatever it throws at you today. Like every other, the hunt awaits. But hunting is never guaranteed. The animals are always one step ahead. They don't make themselves easy to catch, and no matter how skilled you become, there's always the chance that the day will end in failure. But you don't think about that. You can't. You simply pick up your spear, take a deep breath, and step outside. The familiar weight of the weapon feels comforting in your hand, a silent promise that today you will try again. The forest greets you with its usual quiet, the soft rustling of leaves in the wind, the occasional call of a bird, and the distant sound of water trickling through the stream. The air is crisp, the scent of damp earth filling your nostrils. This is your world, live, untamed, and unpredictable. You know these woods well, the paths, the hidden places, the territories of the animals. Every tree, every stone, every patch of grass is part of the map you carry in your mind. The hunt is not just about finding the prey, it's about knowing where it will go, when it will move, and how to position yourself for the perfect strike. You move with care, your eyes scanning the ground for any signs of life, the tracks of fresh deer. By the looks of it, you crouch, studying the trail, and slowly begin to follow it. The path winds through the forest, twisting and turning as you go deeper into the wilderness. The trees grow denser here, the underbrush thicker. You press forward, careful not to make a sound. You know how important it is to stay hidden, to blend into the environment. The deer won't give you a chance if they catch sight of you. Patience is key. Hours pass as you track the deer, your body moving almost automatically as your mind stays focused on the task. The forest seems endless, the trees towering overhead like silent sentinels. There's something humbling about this place, something that reminds you just how small you really are. The creatures here are the true rulers of this land. You're just a visitor, trying to carve out a place for yourself in a world that doesn't care whether you live or die. The thought of being just another part of the food chain is always there, lurking at the edge of your mind. But it doesn't stop you. It can't. You have no choice but to keep moving forward, keep hunting, keep surviving. Eventually you find your prey. The deer has stopped to graze in a small clearing, unaware of your presence. You pause, crouching low, your heart pounding in your chest. The deer is large, the kind of kill that could provide enough food to feed the tribe for days. This is a chance you cannot waste. You breathe in deeply, steadying yourself. The world narrows as you focus on the deer. Every detail becomes sharper, the way the light catches the animal's fur, the way its muscles ripple with every movement. This is the moment. You rise slowly, positioning yourself for the throw. Your spear feels steady in your hand, but it's not just about the throw. It's about timing, precision, and instinct. You wait for the perfect moment. The deer moves its head, its ears flicking as it senses something is wrong. But it doesn't know where you are. Not yet. With a swift motion, you throw the spear. The moment stretches in your mind as the weapon flies through the air. Time slows as you watch the spear find its mark. The deer stumbles, but it doesn't fall immediately. It takes a few steps before it collapses to the ground. You've made the kill. The rush of adrenaline is overwhelming, but it's quickly replaced by the steady calm that follows success. The hunt is over. You approach the deer cautiously, making sure it is truly dead. There's no room for mistakes here. Once you're certain, you begin the process of field dressing the animal. The task is familiar, though it never becomes any easier. The blood, the scent, the physical effort of it, all its exhausting work, but it's necessary. Every part of the animal will be used, and that's the way of life. Nothing goes to waste. When the work is done, you begin the trek back to the cave. The meat is heavy, but you've grown accustomed to the weight. It's a familiar burden, one that you've carried countless times before. As you walk, the forest seems to close in around you, the path growing narrower, the trees taller. But with the meat secured, there's a sense of purpose in every step. You are bringing back what the tribe needs to survive, and that makes everything worth it. The weight of the animal is a reminder of your responsibility, your place in the world. When you finally return to the cave, the tribe is waiting. You are greeted with nods of acknowledgement, and the air is filled with the familiar warmth of the fire. There is no grand celebration, no fanfare. The work is simply done. The food is prepared, the meat roasted, and the tribe gathers around to share in the meal. It's not just about the food, it's about the shared experience, the sense of community that grows with every hunt, every challenge faced together as you sit with your tribe. The fire crackling in front of you, there's a moment of quiet satisfaction. The hunt is complete, and the tribe is fed. But it's not just the food that matters. It's the connection, the unspoken bond between every member of the group. You are all part of this cycle. You are all responsible for one another's survival. This is your family, your tribe, and together you ensure that life goes on. The fire dims as the night grows deeper, the shadows stretching long across the cave floor. The day's work is done. Tomorrow will come with its own set of challenges, but for now, there is peace. You rest, knowing that you've done what you came here to do. Tomorrow, you will rise again to face the world, to continue the cycle of survival that has existed for eons. But tonight, you sleep, content in the knowledge that you are not alone. You are part of something greater. You are part of the cycle. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new struggles, and new triumphs. But tonight, you rest. You sleep, knowing that the cycle will continue. The hunt will begin again, the fire will burn once more, and you will rise to meet it. The day breaks with an ever-familiar sensation, stiffness in your limbs, cold air on your skin, and the undeniable call of the wilderness. The sun is still low in the sky, but you feel its warmth beginning to seep into the earth. The crackling embers of the fire from the previous night have died down completely, leaving only a faint trace of warmth. You rise, your muscles sore from the day's previous exertions, but there's no time to dwell on discomfort. The fire, as always, is your first concern. You gather kindling and dry wood, knowing that the tribe depends on the warmth it provides, and the food it will cook. With a steady hand, you breathe life into the small pile, coaxing the flames into a steady burn once again. You stretch your arms above your head, feeling your back pop, and a deep sigh escapes your lips. The weight of yesterday's work still lingers, but as you prepare for the day ahead, you know there's no slowing down. The cycle of life in the wild doesn't allow for rest. Every day you rise and fall in sync with nature's rhythm, hunting, gathering, working, surviving. Today will be no different. The world outside the cave is waiting for you, demanding your attention, your effort, and your determination. Once the fire is rekindled and the warmth of its glow starts to fill the cave, you turn your attention to your tools. They are worn, weathered by constant use, yet still dependable. The spear, the axe, the knives, all of them have been shaped by your hands, each tool a product of necessity and survival. You inspect the spear, running your fingers over the sharp flint, checking for any wear or damage. These tools are not just for hunting, they are essential for your very existence. They are the means by which you gather food, build shelter, and defend yourself. Without them, you would be helpless. With your tools in hand, you step outside the cave, the cool morning air filling your lungs. The forest is still shrouded in the soft mist of early morning, the quiet broken only by the distant calls of birds. It's a world that is alive, but also deeply quiet, as if everything is holding its breath before the day begins. You pause for a moment to take in the stillness, the momentary peace before the demands of the day pull you into their grasp. It doesn't last long. The path ahead is never certain. There is no predictability in the wild. Every step you take holds the possibility of success or failure, triumph or defeat. You set your eyes on the path ahead. The hunt is always the first task, the first priority. You need food to survive, and without it, the tribe won't make it through the day. You know the forest well by now. You've traveled its paths countless times. The familiar trees, the damp earth beneath your feet, the rustling leaves, they are all part of the landscape you've come to know intimately. But today, there's something different in the air. The wind is shifting, the trees are swaying in an unfamiliar way, and you sense that something is off. You don't know what it is, but your instincts tell you that you should be cautious. The hunt will be harder today, but you can't turn back. You have no choice but to push forward. As you walk deeper into the woods, the forest feels more alive, more vibrant. The light filters through the trees in golden beams, casting long shadows across the path. You spot signs of movements, creatures darting between trees, birds flitting in and out of view. You track these signs, watching carefully for anything that might lead to larger game. It's always a delicate dance between predator and prey. The animals have their own rhythm, their own patterns. You must learn to anticipate them, to move in time with their movements. The scent of the animals is strong in the air today, Wind carries it toward you, and you follow it, slowly and carefully, until you come across the fresh tracks of a deer. It's a good sign. Deer are plentiful in this area, and they are not difficult to hunt when you know where to find them. The tracks are fresh, and the deer doesn't appear to have sensed your presence yet. You crouch low, moving with purpose, but in complete silence. Every step is calculated. You know that the deer is just ahead. The moment of truth is near. Your heart begins to beat faster, the adrenaline beginning to rise as the hunt progresses. You've been down this path many times, but there's always that rush of excitement, that instinctive push to be quick and precise. You move forward, step by step, until you finally spot the deer. It's grazing in a clearing, its head lowered, unaware of the danger lurking just a few paces away. This is the moment you've been preparing for, the moment when everything you've learned, everything you've practiced, comes to fruition. You crouch behind a tree, taking a deep breath to steady your nerves. You grip your spear tightly, your body tensing in preparation. The deer continues to graze, oblivious. You wait for the perfect moment, the moment when it will be too late for it to run. This is the fine line between success and failure. The world feels like it's holding its breath, the sound of the forest fading as you focus entirely on your target. Time seems to slow as you prepare to throw the spear. Then, with one swift movement, you throw. The spear flies through the air, with precision, striking its target. The deer stumbles, a shock of pain passing through its body. It takes a few more steps, but soon it collapses to the ground. You've made the kill. The hunt is over. The tribe will be fed. You approach the deer cautiously, ensuring that it is truly dead before you begin the process of cleaning and preparing the meat. The task is familiar by now. You've done it countless times. There is no time to revel in the success. There's only work to be done. The meat needs to be preserved, the bones need to be prepared, and the hide needs to be removed carefully. Every part of the animal will be used, nothing will be wasted. It's a delicate process, and it requires focus and precision. Once the task is complete, you begin the long trek back to the cave. The weight of the deer is heavy, but you're used to it. The forest seems to stretch endlessly, the path familiar but still challenging. The weight of the kill presses down on you, but it's a burden you've come to understand. You've earned it, you've survived, and with each step, you are reminded that survival is a constant effort, a relentless cycle of hunting, gathering, working, and resting, only to wake and begin again. When you return to the cave, the tribe is already gathered. Around the fire, they look up at you, the recognition in their eyes speaking volumes. No words are needed. The food is brought to the fire, and the preparation begins. You sit, your muscles aching from the exertion of the hunt, and allow yourself a moment to breathe. The work isn't over, but for now, you can rest. The meat will nourish the tribe, and the fire will provide warmth and light through the coming night. As the tribe gathers around the fire, eating and sharing stories, there's a sense of contentment. It's not much, but it's enough. The work is never truly done. Tomorrow will bring another hunt, another gathering, another task. The cycle continues, unyielding, unrelenting. But tonight, there is peace. Tonight, you rest, knowing that you've done your part. The fire burns bright, the warmth of the flames filling the cave, and for a brief moment, you feel the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing that you've survived a day. At least tomorrow will bring new challenges, but tonight you sleep. The quiet stillness of the cave surrounds you as the first light of dawn begins to filter in. The air is cool, but not as cold as it was when you first awoke. Your muscles ache from the previous day's work, but the pull of survival is strong. You can't stay still for long. There's always something that needs to be done, some task that must be completed before the day is out. It's a rhythm that has become second nature to you over the years waking with the sun, working throughout the day and resting only when the fire has dimmed and the tasks have been done. It's a cycle that continues without end, one that you must follow if you are to survive. You rise from the stone ground, stretching your limbs, and take a moment to check the fire. The embers glow faintly in the center of the cave, but it won't last long unless you add more fuel. Without fire, the world outside becomes far more dangerous. It provides warmth, light, and, most importantly, the means to cook the food you will gather and hunt. The fire is as essential to your survival as your tools and your tribe. You gather dry wood, stacking it carefully over the embers, and within moments, the flames begin to grow higher, casting light against the stone walls. The fire crackles softly as you prepare for the day ahead. Your tools are ready, the spear and stone axe both sharpened, both reliable. These tools have been with you for as long as you can remember. They have been your companions through every hunt, every task, and every moment of survival. You know their weight, their balance, and how to use them to the fullest. Today, like every other day, they will be your lifeline. With the fire now steady, you head outside to face the world once more. The morning air is cool against your skin, and you pause for a moment to let your senses adjust to the world around. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting a soft light over the forest. The leaves rustle gently in the wind, and the distant calls of animals fill the air. This is your world of danger, beauty, and the relentless demands of survival. You head deeper into the forest, your footsteps quiet on the damp ground. Today, you plan to hunt. It's the most important task of the day, and it is a task that never gets easier. Every hunt is different, sometimes successful, sometimes not, but it's always hard work. You've learned over time that hunting isn't just about speed or strength. It's about patience, observation, and understanding the rhythm of the forest. The animals move through the world with a certain grace and purpose, and it's your job to predict their movements, to blend into the environment, and to strike when the moment is right. The forest seems alive as you walk, the trees thick and towering, the underbrush alive with movement. You crouch low, your eyes scanning the ground for signs of animal tracks. The forest is quiet now, but you know the deer, the rabbits, the wild boar are out there, moving just beyond your reach. You follow the trail, each step bringing you closer to your prey. You move slowly, carefully, ensuring that you make no noise. The slightest disturbance could send your target running, and you can't afford to scare it off. After what seems like hours, you spot a fresh trail deer tracks, large and recent. You crouch down, studying the ground for more signs. The tracks are still soft in the damp earth, a clear indication that the deer is nearby. You rise slowly, keeping your body low. To the ground, your spear ready in your hand. Your heart races in your chest as you move forward. You can feel the presence of the animal, the way the air shifts as it moves, the way it senses your presence without even knowing you are there. The forest becomes more than just a collection of trees and animals. It becomes a stage for the struggle for survival, and you are both the predator and the prey. You creep forward, using the cover of the trees to conceal your movements. Your heart beats faster with each step. but you stay focused. Every muscle in your body is tuned to the rhythm of the hunt. The deer is close now, just beyond the next row of trees. You crouch down, holding your breath, your spear ready for the throw. The moment of truth has arrived. The deer steps into the clearing, its head down, grazing. It's unaware of your presence. You feel the adrenaline surge as you prepare to strike. You don't move. The world seems to pause, and for a moment, it's just you and the deer. Everything else fades into the background. This is it. The hunt then, with a quick, practiced motion, you throw the spear. The air seems to stand still for a moment as it flies through the space between you and the deer. It strikes its mark, the force of the spear knocking the animal off its feet. The deer stumbles, tries to stand, but collapses. It's over. You've made the kill. You approach the animal cautiously, making sure it is truly dead. It's not unusual for prey to feign death, so you take your time, ensuring that the hunt is complete. When you're sure the deer is gone, you begin the process of field dressing. The task is familiar, but it never gets easier. There is no joy in it, only the understanding that this is what must be done to survive. You strip away the flesh, cutting and cleaning as efficiently as possible. The meat will feed the tribe, the bones can be used to craft tools, and the hide can be used for clothing or shelter. Nothing is wasted. Once the task is complete, you begin the long walk back to the cave, the weight of the deer heavy on your back. The journey feels longer today, the weight of the kill pressing down on you with each step. You've been carrying these burdens for years now, and yet each one feels new. You don't stop, though. You can't afford to. The tribe is waiting, and the work is far from over. When you return to the cave, the tribe is gathered around the fire. There are no cheers, no loud celebrations, just the quiet acknowledgement of the work you've done. The fire crackles softly, and you add the fresh meat to the cooking stones. The scent of roasting meat fills the air, and the tribe falls into the familiar rhythm of eating, sharing, and resting. You sit among them, your body sore from the effort of the hunt, but there's no time for rest. Not yet. The work continues. The tribe's survival depends on it. As the fire burns low, the tribe grows quiet. The crackling of the flames is the only sound that fills the cave. You lean back, your body exhausted, your mind restless. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new tasks, but for now, you have done what is necessary. The fire, the food, the safety of the tribe, it's all part of the cycle that continues every day. Without end, tomorrow, you will rise and begin again, but tonight, you rest. The fire will burn low, the shadows will stretch long, and for a brief moment, there will be peace. Tomorrow, the hunt will call to you again, but tonight, you sleep. The cave is quiet when you wake, the last embers of the fire casting faint shadows on the walls. The world outside is still shrouded in darkness, the first signs of dawn barely beginning to break over the horizon. It's a new day, and though your body feels the ache of yesterday's labor, there is no time to rest. The call to survive is relentless. The world outside is waiting for US Island, demanding and unforgiving. You take a deep breath and stretch, feeling the stiffness in your muscles. The familiar weight of the day ahead presses down on you. You rise and move toward the remnants of the fire, adding some twigs and dry wood to keep it burning. The warmth begins to return as the flames grow, and for a brief moment, you allow yourself to appreciate the comfort it brings. The fire is your constant companion, your protector against the cold and the dangers that lie in the dark. It is the one thing that allows you to feel safe, if only for a short while. As the fire crackles and the cave fills with its glow, you turn your attention to the tools that will accompany you into the wilderness. They are worn from years of use, but they are sturdy and reliable. The spear is sharp, the stone axe finely honed, and the small knife is still useful for cutting and preparing the meat. These tools are more than just instruments of survival. They are extensions of yourself. Each one has been crafted with care, shaped by your hands, and they serve you in ways that no animal or natural element can. Without them, you would be nothing more than another creature in the wild. The hunt is always the first task of the day. You can't survive without food, and while the forest is full of life, it is also full of challenges. Every day you set out with the hope of finding something to bring back to the cave, something to nourish the tribe and keep them safe. But the hunt is never guaranteed. The animals are elusive, clever, and they don't make it easy for you. Some days you return empty-handed. Other days you're lucky and your spear finds its mark. Today, like every other, you are determined to succeed. You step outside into the crisp morning air, the coolness of the forest welcoming you. The sun is still low, casting long shadows across the landscape. The trees are shrouded in mist, their tall trunks rising like silent giants. The wind is calm, and the earth is damp with dew. It is a world of stillness, broken only by the faint sounds of animals stirring. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the fresh air. This is your world, your domain. You know it better than anyone else. Every path, every tree, every animal is a part of your understanding. It's a world of beauty and danger, of peace and chaos. But it is a world that you have come to know intimately. You make your way through the underbrush, carefully scanning the ground for signs of prey. There are tracks in the soft earth, fresh, clear marks left by a herd of deer. You crouch down, examining the prints with the practiced eye of a seasoned hunter. The trail is fresh, and the scent of the animals hangs heavy in the air. You are close. Your heart beats faster, the anticipation building with each step. You can feel the energy in the forest shifting, as if the world itself is aware of your presence. The hunt is on. As you follow the trail deeper into the forest, the trees grow thicker, and the underbrush becomes more tangled. The silence around you is thick, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of birds. Every step you take is measured, calculated. The forest is alive with movement, but you move like a shadow, blending into the surroundings. You know that the deer, or whatever prey you seek, is always one step ahead. They are not easily caught. You must be patient, and you must be swift when the time comes. Hours pass, the hunt becoming a test of endurance and patience. The trail twists and turns, but you remain focused, your mind sharp and your senses alert. The forest is dense, the canopy above blocking out much of the light, but you move through it with ease, your body attuned to the rhythm of the land. The trees seem to lean in closer, their shadows stretching out like fingers, reaching for you. But there is no fear, only determination. And then you see it, thud deer, grazing in the clearing ahead. Its head is down, and it is unaware of your presence. You freeze, your heart pounding in your chest. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The world narrows as you focus entirely on the animal before you. The hunt has reached its climax, and you must act quickly. You crouch low, your spear held in a steady grip. The deer lifts its head slightly, its ears twitching. It knows something is wrong, but it doesn't know where the danger is coming from. You wait for it to lower its head again, just a little more, and then, with a swift motion, you throw the spear. The world holds its breath as the weapon flies through the air, striking its target. The deer stumbles and falls to the ground. You have made the kill. There is a rush of triumph, but it is short-lived. The hunt is not over until the work is done. You approach the animal cautiously, ensuring that it is truly dead. The kill is successful, but now the task of field dressing begins. The process is laborious, but it is something you've done countless times before. There's no room for hesitation, no time for celebration. The meat must be prepared for the tribe, the bones saved for tools, the hide for clothing or shelter. Everything must be used. Nothing is wasted. Once the task is complete, you gather the meat and begin the long journey back to the cave. The weight of the animal is heavy on your shoulders, but it is a burden you bear with pride. The forest feels both familiar and new, the path home stretching out before you like a promise. You know that the work is not over. The tribe depends on you, and you must ensure their survival. When you return to the cave, the fire is still burning brightly, and the tribe greets you with silent acknowledgement. There is no need for words. The meat is added to the fire, and the air is filled with the scent of roasting food. The familiar rhythm of the tribe begins again. The work is never truly done. The day's labor is only the beginning of the cycle. Tomorrow will bring more challenges, more hunts, more tasks. But for tonight, there is rest. As you sit around the fire, sharing the meal with your tribe, there is a moment of quiet satisfaction. The fire crackles, the shadows flicker across the cave walls, and the sound of eating fills the air. The work has been done. The tribe will eat. The cycle continues. Tomorrow, you will rise again to face the world, but for now, you rest. Tomorrow, the hunt will begin again. For tonight, the fire will burn low, and you will sleep. The world outside will continue, but in this moment, the cycle of survival has been fulfilled. You have done your part. The morning light seeps into the cave, creeping over the stone floor and reaching the place where you lay. The familiar coolness of dawn chills your skin as you slowly awaken. For a moment, everything is still, the world outside silent and unknown. The crackling embers from the night's fire are dim, leaving the cave with a soft, muted light. Your body aches as you stretch, your limbs stiff from the labor of the past days, but the work is never over. It doesn't pause. There is no room for rest in this world. Every morning, you must rise to face the wilderness once again. The fire needs to be stoked. The warmth it provides is a constant in a world that is constantly changing. Without fire, you would be exposed to the cold, to the wild things lurking in the darkness. Fire is your shield and your tool, your light and your warmth. It's more than just an element, it's your lifeline. You add dry wood to the embers, blowing gently until the flames grow. Slowly, the warmth returns to the cave, a familiar comfort. That seems to make the cold outside even more distant. As the fire burns brightly, you turn to your tools, carefully checking each one. The spear, the stone axe, the knives, they've all been sharpened over time, each one worn down by use, but still strong. They are extensions of yourself. They allow you to hunt, to gather, to build. Without them, you would be defenseless. The process of creating them was not quick or easy. Each tool took time, patience, and skill. The stone, the bone, the wood all shaped with purpose. The first tool you ever made may have been clumsy, rough, and far from perfect, but it was the start of something greater. It was the key to your survival today. You take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. You've crafted these tools, learned how to use them, and, most importantly, you've survived. The act of survival, of enduring through every season, every challenge, is something that binds you to your ancestors. You know that your place here is not just a fleeting moment. It is part of a larger cycle, one that has been repeated for countless generations. The tools, the fire, the hunt, they are the same elements that have allowed humans to exist in this harsh world for millennia. With your tools ready, you step outside, the cool morning air brushing against your skin. The world is still dark, but you can feel the sun approaching. You know that soon it will rise higher, casting light on the world around you. The forest is still as well, the branches of the trees swaying ever so slightly in the breeze. There is a calmness in the air, but it is deceptive. You know the world will soon come alive, and the quiet will give way to the sounds of the hunt. The hunt is the first task of the day. It is always the first task. The tribe depends on it. Without food, there is no survival. There are no guarantees. The animals you track may be elusive, or they may be dangerous. Each hunt carries with it a risk that can lead to failure, to going back empty-handed. But there is no choice. You must hunt, you must gather. It's the way the world works, and you've learned to live by it. You walk carefully through the forest, your eyes scanning the ground for any signs of movement. The trees are dense, the underbrush thick, but you know the land well. The path may change with the seasons, but the rhythms of nature are the same. You follow the tracks of a deer, your heart picking up its pace as you move closer. The animal is just ahead, grazing in a clearing, unaware of your presence. Your body goes still as you crouch down, your spear ready in your hand. The deer's head lifts, its ears twitching. It senses something, but doesn't know where the danger is. The forest seems to hold its breath as you prepare to strike. Your body is tense, every muscle poised to act. You've done this countless times before, but each hunt feels like the first. There is always that rush, that surge of adrenaline when you know the moment of truth is near. The deer's head drops again, its attention back on the ground, its focus distracted. This is your chance. You throw the spear. The moment feels suspended in time, the world quiet around you, the air moving slowly as the spear flies through it. The motion is precise, controlled, and then the spear strikes the deer, sending it stumbling back, but it doesn't fall immediately. It runs, and you pursue. There is no time to hesitate. The chase is on. The deer moves swiftly through the underbrush, its movements fluid and agile. It is a creature built for speed, and you must match it step for step. You push your legs harder, your lungs burning as you chase. You know that if you slow down, the deer will escape. There is no room for failure. You must keep up. You must strike again. After what feels like an eternity, the deer stumbles and falls. The chase is over, and the work begins again. You approach the fallen animal with caution, checking to make sure it's truly dead. The kill is successful, but the hunt is not finished. You begin the task of field dressing, cutting away the flesh, removing the bones, preparing the meat for transport. The process is the same every time, but it is never easy. The scent of blood fills the air, but it is a scent you know well. This is what it takes to survive. Once the work is done, you gather the meat, preparing to return to the cave. The wait. of the kill presses down on you as you make your way back. The forest seems more expansive now, the trees towering above you, the path winding through the wilderness. You know the way home, but the journey never feels short. The weight of your responsibility or task grows with each step. You are not just carrying the meat back to the cave. You are carrying the tribe's survival. When you finally return to the cave, the tribe is waiting. There is no celebration, no great fanfare. There is simply the silent acknowledgement of the work that has been done. You place the meat on the ground, and the fire is stoked higher. The familiar smell of roasting food fills the air, and the tribe gathers to share in the meal. It's not just about the food, it's about the shared experience, the connection that forms through the daily act of survival. As the fire burns low, you sit with the others, your body exhausted, but your spirit satisfied. The work has been done, the tribe will eat, the cycle continues. Tomorrow there will be more hunting, more gathering, more work. But tonight you rest. Tonight you sleep, knowing that tomorrow will bring another opportunity to rise to the challenge. For now, the fire burns low, the shadows stretch across the cave, and the world outside remains still. The work is never over, but tonight it can wait. Tomorrow will come. Before tonight, you rest. The cave is quiet as the early morning light creeps over the landscape, casting a soft glow over the stone walls. The fire from the previous night has died down to a few embers, and you can feel the coolness of the air seep into your bones as you wake. Your body aches from the constant strain of survival, but there's no time to rest. You rise, stretching your stiff limbs, and immediately begin your routine. The world doesn't stop, and neither can you. Survival depends on your effort. The hunt, the gathering, the fire-all of it, requires your constant attention. You begin with the fire, adding dry wood to the embers and coaxing it back into life. The warmth spreads through the cave as the flames grow, and you feel the comfort of the fire's heat on your skin. It's a constant companion in this wild world, providing warmth, light, and safety. Without it, the night would be colder, the dangers greater. The fire is your lifeline, your protector, your sustainer. Once the fire is steady, you check your tools, the spear, the stone axe, and the small knife. These tools have been with you through countless hunts, each one sharpened and honed through years of use. Every mark, every chip, is a testament to the effort it took to survive. Without these tools, your world would be far more dangerous. They are the means by which you gather food, create shelter, and defend yourself. Without them, you would be nothing more than prey. They are extensions of yourself. The tools are ready. The fire is burning strong. You take one last look around. The cave, the familiar stone walls, the flickering light, and you step outside. The world is still dark, the air cool, and the forest is quiet. The sun is not yet fully risen, and the world feels suspended in that brief moment of calm before the chaos of the day begins. You inhale the cool morning air, feeling the stillness around you. This is your world. You've come to know it intimately, its rhythms and patterns, its dangers and its beauty. But the stillness is temporary. Soon, the hunt will begin. You move cautiously through the forest, your eyes scanning the ground for any signs of animal tracks. You've hunted in this area before, and you know it well. The deer are here, the rabbits, the wild boar, all waiting to be tracked. The forest is your hunting ground, and you know it better than anyone. Every trail, every scent, every rustle in the underbrush is a clue. The land speaks to you, and you listen. The first sign you find is a set of fresh deer tracks. There, clear, deep impressions in the damp earth, left just hours ago. Your heart beats a little faster as you crouch down to study them. These tracks will lead you to the prey. You rise, following the trail as it winds through the forest. The trees grow denser here, their branches twisting and turning, but you move effortlessly through them. You've learned to navigate the forest as if it were an extension of yourself. As you move deeper into the forest, the air feels different. The scent of the deer is stronger now, and you know you're getting closer. The forest is alive, the leaves rustling in the wind, the birds calling out to one another. You pause for a moment to listen. The quiet is almost deafening. It's the calm before the storm, the moment when you know that everything will change in an instant. You continue your every step, careful and deliberate. The deer are close now. You can feel it in the air. Every muscle in your body is tense, coiled in preparation for the moment when the animal will appear. You crouch low behind a large bush, your spear at the ready, your breath steady. The forest around you feels alive with anticipation. The deer are just ahead. You can hear them now, their hooves grazing against the earth, their bodies shifting. In the brush, they don't know you're there. They don't know what's coming. You wait for the perfect moment. Every instinct in your body is honed. The years of hunting, tracking, and surviving all converging in this single moment. Time seems to stretch out. The world slows. The deer move closer. You can hear their soft breaths, their quick, light steps. You hold your breath, waiting. The moment is almost here. Then, with a sudden burst of movement, the deer steps into the clearing. It's bigger than you expected, its antlers wide and impressive. The animal moves slowly, grazing, unaware of your presence. You can feel your pulse quicken. This is your moment. You rise from your crouch, your spear poised, and with one smooth, practiced motion, you throw. The spear flies through the air, hitting its mark with precision. The deer stumbles, letting out a cry of pain as it collapses to the ground. You've made the kill, you've succeeded. The rush of triumph surges through you, but it's brief. The hunt is over, but the work has only just begun. You approach the fallen animal carefully, checking to make sure it's truly dead. The kill is secure. With a sigh of relief, you begin the task of cleaning and preparing the animal. This part of the hunt is never glamorous, but it's essential. You have to strip the flesh, remove the bones, and prepare the meat for transport. Every piece of the animal will be used. The meat will feed the tribe, the bones will become tools, and the hide will be fashioned into clothing or shelter. Nothing is wasted. Once the work is complete, you gather the meat and begin the long journey back to the cave. The weight of the animal is heavy on your shoulders, but you are used to this burden. It is your responsibility to bring food back to the tribe. They depend on you. As you make your way back, the forest seems to stretch on forever. The trees loom high above you, their branches creaking in the wind. The path feels longer today, the weight of the kill growing heavier with each step, but you keep moving. The tribe is waiting. When you return to the cave, the tribe is already gathered around the fire. The familiar faces greet you with quiet nods, their eyes acknowledging your success without words. The meat is placed on the ground, and the fire is stoked higher. The roasting meat fills the cave with its scent, and the tribe gathers to share in the meal. You sit with them, your body tired from the exertion, but there is satisfaction in knowing you've done your part. The cycle of survival continues. As the fire burns low, The tribe begins to settle in for the night. There are no grand celebrations, no cheers or applause. The work has been done, and now it's time for rest. Tomorrow will bring more challenges, more hunting, more gathering, more tasks to complete. But for tonight, there is peace. The tribe is safe. You are safe. And for the briefest of moments, you allow yourself to relax. The fire dims, the shadows stretch long across the cave, and the world outside grows quiet. The hunt is over for today. You lie down on your bedding, your body sore but your mind at ease. You've done your part. Tomorrow will come, and with it, more work. But tonight, you sleep. You sleep knowing that you have survived. You have lived. And tomorrow, you will rise to meet the world once more. The fire may go out, but the cycle continues. The hunt will call again. The world will demand your effort. But tonight, you rest.